Hello everyone, this video is overview slash how to implement the advanced crafting system into your project. The first part will be the overview, the second part will be the implementation of the system. I'm right now in the presentation level inside the plugin, which you can find under the plugin demo and level. Let's start the overview. The project looks like that when you open the level. By default, our character have access to two crafting definitions. One is axe, second is sword. We will pick up some items, the ingredients, and this is the typical approach crafting area. Like in many common games, you have like blacksmith that allows you to craft some weapons, etc., etc. And this is the same. Those anvils are our crafting accessories that contain data tables with all access ID for our crafts. So we can go to our weapon guy, weapon anvil, and it gives us access to craft other weapons. This new indicator means that we as players never seen that crafting definition before. So I can click, once I click that, it will be removed. If I leave and I will come back later, those new indicators are gone, of course, and those are not gone because we didn't click it. And yeah, you know what I mean. Here are armors, potions. This guy gives us access to golden helmet, crystal shield. This guy is like alchemic that give us access to potions, and the difference between the request amount is here. So basically, some items you want to be able to craft just one, and some items you might want to let players to craft a lot of. So basically, here is the request panel, and you can modify the amount by the slider, and like you can see the ingredients amount are automatically calculated. You can change the amount by those buttons, and the request here, for example, the max amount are defined by our ingredients, so we can basically craft 500 health potions because one health potion costs us 1 metal, and we have 500 metal bars, so yeah, we can craft at maximum 500 potions. We can also collapse the tops, and this is the guy that allows us to craft everything. You can of course modify it as you like, and so on. I will show you exactly how to do that in the second part of the video. Here are basically dynamic approach for crafting. You can find similar stuff in games like Valheim, when you can craft everything or some stuff everywhere, but other stuff only near some crafting stations. So basically, when I open the crafting menu and I will move inside that area, it will give us access to other weapons, and if I leave the area, it will move out our access for that. And this is the same for armors. If I move here, the armors appear. If I move out, the armors are not available to craft anymore. And the behavior, how it should be visually. So what happened when the crafting list are changed are completely up to you. You can modify it as you like. Everything is exposed in blueprints inside the widgets. And here is the last the last stuff, and there are permanent accessors, so you can grant player with access to craft, for example, mana potions. So like we can see right now, I can't craft any potions. There is no possibility. But when I pick up, this can be item or reward as a quest or anything that you can think about. And right now I can craft mana potions everywhere. Doesn't matter where. And here is the same health potions. Okay, so right now when we know how to get access for crafting, let's craft some stuff. Let's open the weapons. Let's craft. Let's see. The greater sword required 5 wood, 5 metal, 250 gold and crystal, but it also required sword, which we don't have. So let's create the sword firstly. And like you see, we can right now craft the greater sword. Ingredients are gone and the greater sword appear in our inventory. The inventory is only for presentation purposes. It should not be used in any project or anything like that. It's just to showcase you the stuff. We can also sort the items from the based of the rarity. As you can see, we can craft some stuff and also cancel it. So let's craft 100 mana potions. You can cancel it by clicking the cancel button, or we can cancel it by any other actions that you would like to define. I also added the canceling craft to visibility change. So basically when we are crafting, we can, and we hide the widget, the craft are stopped. The system works with any type of itemization. Either you have like a data table or data assets for items. I will show you very soon how to implement that. It also, implementing your own inventory system also require only to edit 3 functions that I exposed for you. All visual stuff are exposed to the blueprint widgets, which you can modify as you like. The categories, the look of the panel, and yeah, everything like that is exposed to you, and you can change it as you like, modify. It will not break anything in the system. So yeah, that's basically it. This is the crafting system. I will move right now to the implementation part. Okay, so let's assume that we would like to create a sword that its ingredients is 10 metal and 5 wood. Firstly, we have to create the crafting ID so we can identify the items, and we have to do it by creating a craft ID. This is the primary data asset that we will configure to connect with our itemization system. This way, the plugin itself isn't coupled with the one itemization structure. So we can make it like PDA demo craft ID. And inside we will configure that stuff later. From here I just exposed to functions that we can modify later, but it's, and from here we go to miscellaneous. Since it's the primary data asset, we can go to miscellaneous and create those data assets based off this one. This is the democraft ID. And like I said, we want to create a sword. So this is our data asset. Let's call it demo sword, data asset demo metal bar, data asset demo wood. Those are our crafting identifiers. And right now we want to compose that into the crafting definition. So we can hop to the miscellaneous again, data asset, and create a craft definition based of this one. And this will be data asset demo sword definition. And from here, like you can see, we can select the item to craft, but right now it will be a little bit harder to find because it shows everything from the plugin. So I will just hop to the folders and create them and just move them directly. So we want to create this is our definition. So we want to create the sword from wood and from metal bar, and we want the wood to be 5, I believe it was, and there will be 10 metal bars. So this way we can create infinite number of variations. We can also do something like the sword will be required as an ingredient. In this case, it doesn't make sense, but it can be like in the presentation I showed you that there is a greater sword that required sword to be able to craft, and this is how I achieved that behavior. And from here, what we have to do is to identify that items. Let's move to the plugin, to the data table. Let's assume for that implementation purpose that your itemization systems are based of the data table. So I'll use the one from the plugin. I prepared for that case the interface which we will be implementing right now. It was data stream, yeah, BPA ax craft ID data stream. It's implemented, and it gave us the get item identifier and get all crafting ID data. You can like edit those interface as you like. You can get any type of data that you would like to have, but for the presentation purpose, we only need the identifier, which in our case, because we have like data table system, our identifier for that project is the raw name. But if you use like data asset, it can be the data asset itself or any string or any type of variable that you like. And here is the crafting ID data that you can also edit as you like, but for the case I need, those are the variables for the plugin. I use the display name, the widgets, the category as the main category, subcategory. Those are the two-handed swords, for example, or one-handed, and icon and the rarity for the widgets. So basically, what we want to do, we can get how that was data asset data table. Get data table row. We know that our data table row with those items are data table X items. And we can break it and pass it as our variables here. The item is found, but we right now we are configuring the primary data asset, but we need to know how to define that for each sword or anything like that. So there is a structure named data table row handle, I believe its name. Yeah, and we can name it like handle. We can break it and connect that to the data table row. We can do the same here as our identifier. This is how we configure the primary data asset, but right now we need to back to each data asset and define those stuff items, because you might have like many data tables, and that one will contain only swords or shields. Yeah, just for that purpose, and we can select from here. We are in the metal bar, and we will pick up the bars. Where is the metal blind? Okay, here we will go to sword. We'll pick up the sword. This is how we will like stream data. This is the wood, and this is the main definition. Okay, so we created our primary data asset that is finally configured correctly, and we know that those items are indeed the items from our item system based off the data table. Here in the data assets, we can configure the maximum crafting amount at once. This is that slider that appear if we would like to make it as an craft item. We can configure that here. So mana potion will be 999, for example. We can also refer the demonstration folders inside the plugin, so we can deeper inside the plugin itself. And that's it. We define everything correctly, but right now the last important step is to create the list from which we will give access our player. So because right now when I start the game there is an accent sword, but we want to allow the definitions to be the only our sword that we created right now. What we have to do is to create data table, and from the type of crafting access list initializer, this is our data table demo. From here we will pick up our definition. So we will allow our player to craft only the demo sword. We set up it, and inside our character, because we are using it, we can select inside the crafting manager the data table demo that we created. And when we start the project, we are able to craft the sword that it's correctly stream the data, the icons, the categories, the everything to the widgets and so on. And it's based off the wood and metal. That way we can very easily like configure that stuff. That, for example, this is like some abstract amounts, but like you see, this is it's how easy it's to change that. As I told you before, implementing the system inside your own inventory, one will be the matter of changing three functions which I exposed. We can open the component, the crafting manager component. Here is the all overview that you can see and read if you want to deep dive into the plugin. But the most for implementation important stuff are here. There is a function get item amount from inventory. This function is called from client, that for those people that interested in the multiplier, but it basically do what it says to do. It's getting the amount of items from the inventory is required for calculation, the allowing the and enabling the button and other stuff. But it doesn't take anything from the inventory. It just pull the amount from the component, and it's based on our identifier that we used, and get item identifier that we correctly set up it inside the demo. Like here, that's why it can recognize the items and which item to find and to eventually destroy or remove. And the next one is try consume ingredients. This one is a little bit more complicated. It's basically taking the items after the player starts the craft. So what I did is just I get the inventory component, which is inside the owner. The owner is player controller, and it contains that inventory component interface. And I look through the items which are validated before, and there is actually no way that player can craft anything that he doesn't suppose. There is another validation check on the server, but yeah, here I'm looping through the items, and there is the result if items were consumed correctly or not. If the items are consumed correctly, they will be granted, the player will be granted with the crafted items. You can define basically when the player should be, when the craft should be successfully finished. What if you should take in consideration the slot or not is totally up to you, but it should be configured here. And the last one is the grant player with the crafted items. So I basically, here we are getting the function grant player craft ID with the craft item ID and the amount. And from here again we can get the identifier from our get identifier interface. We are getting the inventory component again, and we are trying to add the items, and it's assumed just false. There is no more space, so the item should be, I don't know, sent to the MI or anything like that, and that should just means that the item appear in the inventory. That's all you have to do to implement the inventory system. And like you see, it will work with any type of itemization systems, either data table, data asset, simple object classes. You can stream the data inside the crafting identifiers to be sure that they are correct. And yeah, here are the implementation of the inventory. And that's basically it. Those two stuffs are the most important to implement the plugin into your systems, the understanding how the crafting ID and crafting definitions works, and implementing your own inventory system. I tried as much as I could to comment everything and give you like some idea how to work with that. You can basically, for example, assign other events to your project. For example, there is one that I could think of. For example, on craft succeed, you can you can create a widget that is granted with those items, and it will there will be like a big pop out, congratulations, you crafted items, blah 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 blah, this kind of stuff. And there is one more technical stuff that you can think of. Everything is based off the components, and those components are connected to the crafting manager UI, which is subsystem. This way you can easily create and manage your widgets without really thinking about transferring data between them, because the crafting ID subsystem is all you need to get. Like you say, I'm in the crafting panel here. I'm binding some functions from the Seasons UI Craft Manager subsystem, and that's how you communicate between data between widgets, not by transferring them between themselves, but via those subsystem. It's much easier and convenient way to do those kind of stuff. If you have like any questions or something is not clear for you, feel free to hit me on Discord or in questions under Marketplace plugin site. I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching it, and I wish you a good day.